Joining us now, NBC's Aaron Gilchrist reporting from Washington, D.C. Sam Stein is managing editor at The Bulwark. Aaron, give us the context of where this all stands between the president, Elon Musk, and who's in charge.
Yeah, Chris, I think the narrative you just went through really adds some color to what we've been seeing play out confusingly, to be honest, over the last several weeks. We've seen these executive orders and memos come from the White House, from the Office of Personnel Management, from OMB, that would seem to suggest that the agencies, the secretaries, needed to be doing these things to be in compliance with executive orders that the president signed. But in practice, we know that we've seen in so many cases Elon Musk and his DOGE team actually effectuating some of the changes that have been happening over the last several weeks. If you remember that email that went out, I think it was on a Saturday evening, to federal workers that said, you need to send us your list of 5 things, and then a post on social media from Elon Musk after that said these people could be essentially be fired. And then after that, we saw a lot of the federal agencies, State Department, FBI, others, saying, wait a minute, you don't have to reply to this email just yet. And so that, I think, was the first outward sign of this power struggle that we've seen. And now you have this meeting where the president says to the secretaries, hiring and firing is on you. I want you to keep the best people around and get rid of folks who don't need to be around, who are not mission critical, is the language that we've seen in some of these documents. I want you to hear a little bit more of what the president had to say after that meeting yesterday, and after he posted on his Truth Social site about making sure the secretaries are running the show.
I want the cabinet members to keep good people. I don't want to see a big cut where a lot of good people are cut. I want the cabinet members go first, keep all the people you want, everybody that you need. And it would be better if they were there for 2 years instead of 2 weeks, because in 2 years they'll know the people better. But I want them to do the best job they can. Elon and the group are going to be watching them. And if they can cut, it's better. And if they don't cut, then Elon will do the cutting.
Now, we've heard Elon Musk say on more than one occasion now, we will make mistakes, and talking about his DOGE team and the work that they're doing, going through all the federal agencies and assessing their bookkeeping, assessing their staffing. He said, we will make mistakes and then we will correct them. You have to think that that's not something that's consistent with the way that President Trump typically talks about making mistakes and things of that nature. And we've seen where many people have been fired from different agencies, in some cases more than 100, and then have had to be rehired, something that you have to imagine the president is not a sort of mistake that President Trump would want to see happening, Chris. And so now this puts the hiring and firing, at least publicly, squarely in the hands of these secretaries who, in theory, would know their agencies best.
Aaron, thank you for that. Okay, Sam, there's a lot to deconstruct here, but let me start with this. I don't know how clearly that message, or whatever the message was clear to members of the cabinet. Here's what we do know. Elon Musk has the president's ear. Just this week, his PAC spent, I think, $1 million on ads saying, thank you, Mr. President. You're doing a great job. And he also controls a little thing called X, which could be used against any individual member of the cabinet. Where does that leave them? Where are we in all this? What are you hearing?
Well, that certainly hangs over all of this. In this New York Times story, for instance, it's reported that several other cabinet officials were inclined to speak up against Musk and in support of Rubio and Duffy. But they were almost worried to a degree at the way that Musk both reacted to Rubio and, frankly, by the fact that Musk is the richest person in the world, has shown that he's willing to spend prodigiously in politics, and controls X, a platform where much of the political discourse is playing out in real time. And so, yeah, that is a threat, unlike anything we've seen politically before. It used to be that it was Trump who was the one who could threaten these people, but now it's obviously Trump and Musk himself. So, this does color things. Ultimately, I don't know where this leads us, right? I mean, it's an extraordinary moment to have actual cabinet secretaries in a cabinet meeting having to defend their turf from an unelected official who's been empowered by the president to basically dismantle government. And this is just really extraordinary times, and sometimes we lose that in these discussions over these micro dramas between these individual personalities.
And the other thing, frankly, is it has been, let's call it a whirlwind series of weeks. If you work for the federal government, you know, do I have a job? Don't I have a job? Oh, I got fired. Oh, they just called me back. What are you hearing about that? Because, you know, we played earlier a couple of the Republican senators who are very concerned about the impact in their states of this back and forth on tariffs. But employees, there are federal employees all across the country.
Yeah, now this I've heard from dozens upon dozens of employees and lawmakers and advocates. And the impact of these indiscriminate cuts is profound. And you can tell because some of these cuts they've had to reverse, right? I mean, when you go and fire the nuclear weapons and waste specialists out in Los Alamos, and then you realize, oh my God, this could be bad, you have to rehire them. And it's not always easy to rehire people. So I talked to some officials who work in overseas foreign aid operations.
Some brand new reporting in the New York Times today on a confrontation of sorts inside the White House between Elon Musk and several members of Donald Trump's new cabinet, with Donald Trump sort of reduced to the role of spectator. The Times cites 5 people with knowledge of the confrontation, reports this about an argument between Elon Musk and Marco Rubio. Quote, "You fired nobody," Musk told Rubio, then scornfully added that perhaps the only person he had fired was a staff member from his Department of Government Efficiency. Rubio had been privately furious with Musk for weeks, ever since his DOGE team effectively shuttered an entire agency that was supposedly under Rubio's control, the United States Agency for International Development. Musk was not being truthful, Rubio said. What about the more than 1,500 State Department officials who took early retirement in buyouts? Didn't they count as layoffs, he asked sarcastically, whether Musk wanted him to rehire all those people just so he can make a show of firing them again. Then he laid out his detailed plans for reorganizing the State Department. Musk was unimpressed. He told Rubio he was, quote, good on TV, with the clear subtext being he wasn't good for much else. Where was Donald Trump in all this? The Times reports that he sat back as if he was watching a tennis match. Ultimately, he, quote, intervened to defend, wait for it, Rubio. Said he was doing a great job. Rubio has a lot to deal with, the president said. He's very busy. He's always traveling and on TV. And he has an agency to run. So everyone just needs to work together, end quote. And then for the first time since his inauguration, Trump put some restraints on Elon Musk. From this reporting, quote, from now on, he said, the secretaries would be in charge. The Musk team will only advise. Joining our coverage, host of MSNBC's Politics Nation, president of the National Action Network, the Reverend Al Sharpton, joins us. Christy and Michael are still here. Rev, I have been watching the Bannon-Musk power struggle with keen interest since it first emerged during the campaign. And I think I said on television, do not ever bet against the guy who was willing to go to jail to not testify before Congress, and the guy who sort of in I don't know if his life, I don't know enough about his life, but who seems to understand the base and the most powerful elements of the Trump base better than anybody in Trump land, and that is Steve Bannon. And I don't have any idea if Bannon has any role in all this, but it does seem like Musk has stumbled, not by taking more attention from Trump, which is how most people stumble, but by dirtying him up politically. The things that Musk is doing are not popular among Republican voters in Republican districts.
That's the whole point. I think that Musk could get away with a lot, but he cannot in any way endanger his popularity. When he starts seeing polls coming down based on things that Musk got him to do or that Musk did in his name, that gets his attention. You got to remember, a narcissist is about him. And when you are doing things that in any way injures or besmirches the image of the narcissist, he's got to react. All the logic in the world doesn't matter. Everything else doesn't matter. But wait a minute, he's making me look bad. I don't care how rich he is. And I think that that's what Musk is going to run into here.
What's interesting, though, is that this is a different Trump, because the co-presidency has been going on since the beginning, and that doesn't bother Trump. What bothers him, and what has always, I think, sustained him politically, is this reptilian survival sense that if all the Republicans are voted out of office in 2 years, that is a much bumpier road.
It's a much bumpier road. He knows that it will.
Michael Steele, have you seen the law firms that are currently in good standing step into the fray and publicly defend this law firm today?
No, and you won't, because they're part of the grift machine. Why would they? Why would they turn off that spigot? I think every law firm in this town and around the country should stand together and say, go ahead, try it. Try it. I mean, are you serious? I mean, the American people, you're looking at this and you think this is normal and okay to single out a law firm that happened to represent a political opponent of Donald Trump and the lawyers who were involved in cases and litigations against him? How dumb is that? And think about it in terms of if any other business in this country operated that way, where they would tell you, I'm sorry, we're not going to serve you the goods you ordered because you ordered from a competitor, or you also contribute money to an organization we don't like. I mean, this is just not normal. This is the musings and actions of a petty, afraid little man who's sitting behind a very big desk and wielding a lot of power. But at the end of the day, he's a scared little boy who feels that this is the only way he can get payback, is to go after the law firms who just did what they're supposed to do, what they were hired to do. And so I'm hoping the legal community, as an active member of the legal community, I'm hoping that we all stand together and go ahead, make our day. You know, you want to tie this up in litigation. Let's get this in front of the Supreme Court and let's hear what those lawyers have to say, because this is
guys, what you're seeing here is a breakdown of Trump world. They're sick of it. They are sick of it. And while in public you're not going to hear nearly as much as we need to hear, we deserve to hear, Americans, the world, no one likes the current arrangement from Trump. No one. Even the people that like Trump don't like it. Because if you're a Trump loyalist, you didn't vote for Elon Musk. You didn't. Maybe you don't hate Elon. Maybe you feel he can be part of the team. But no one, I repeat, no one wanted him as co-president. Nobody did. And if they're saying they did, they're an idiot or a liar. No one wanted him as co-president. And people are sick and tired of it. Because, you know, there was a sense, oh, what's Elon going to do if Trump wins, right? Okay, he'll be an advisor. Like, you know, presidents have informal advisors all the time. You know, I'm sure that he'll do something. He might sit on a committee of say, businessmen or CEOs that Trump puts together. But he is co-president, and people are sick of it. So the highest level government workers, people in the cabinet, the highest level people, are telling Trump to F off if they think they're going to bend the knee to Musk, especially in private. Marco Rubio, say what you will about him, you know, was elected by the people of Florida multiple times. He was confirmed by the Senate. There's processes for why he's there. Elon hasn't earned anything, and people can smell it.